Welcome to the Keeping It Realty podcast, where we talk everything real estate in East Tennessee. Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Tyler Frazier, and I am the host of the Keeping It Realty podcast. Welcome to episode 1. Today we have Keli Vaughn with us. She is with RE/MAX Results here in the Tri-Cities. Let's take a listen to see what she has to say about being a local real estate agent here in the Tri-Cities. Let me give a quick shout out to this week's sponsor, which is Jason Scott with Cardinal Financial. Jason is a fantastic option for all of your residential mortgage needs. They've got tons of programs available for everybody, whether it's traditional conventional loans for well-qualified buyers, or they do have programs like FHA loans for people with lower credit scores and not as much money down. There truly is great options for everybody over there at Cardinal Financial. So thank you, Jason Scott, for being this week's sponsor. So you were with RE/MAX All-Stars, correct?
No.
That's what it says on your Facebook.
RE/MAX Results.
RE/MAX. Okay. Sorry. It's just different, like office locations, I guess.
Yeah, different brokers. It's all obviously
Gotcha.
the same. It's like a McDonald's. You
Right,
can
it's
franchise
franchised.
it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we're RE/MAX Results.
RE/MAX Results. Where's that at?
On Eastman Road in Kingsport, across from DB, like across from their tennis courts.
Okay. How long have you been with them?
2 years. Exactly 2 years. But
Okay.
I've been in real estate for 4. I was at Southern Dwellings to start.
Okay. Why do agents switch? Like, what's if you had to pick now? You don't have to get in like bad blood if there is, but what is it like difference in commission splits? Like you feel like
So I actually took a pay cut to go there. And I'll tell you.
RE/MAX?
To RE/MAX.
Really?
Yes. And so the reason I switched was because 2020 was heinous.
Right.
And I know it was like, for most agents, they were making like hand over fist money and it was like wild.
Yeah.
But I had kids at home. And so all of a sudden I was like homeschooling and doing all this stuff at home, and I couldn't really work real
COVID.
estate like I wanted to.
Right.
And so RE/MAX is a much different setup than Southern Dwellings. It's bigger. You get name recognition. Honestly, that was my biggest reason for switching, was name recognition. And
Okay.
then they pay for leads, like internet leads, which was a huge thing for me because I felt like I was in a lull
Yeah.
and I needed a little kick in the butt. And so it was kind of like a safety net. That's why I switched.
Okay.
But now I do more business there than I did before. So it kind of leveled out.
Okay. But they take more of your money now.
They did, but I just got a raise.
Okay. So how do you get a raise? Just your commission split just changes? Like
Changes,
it's
goes
less
up.
taken out, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess then if that's the case, like if you're somewhere that takes more of your commission when you do get commission, but you're doing more deals because of them,
Yes,
probably
it
equals
pans
out. Like if you were making $40,000 a year somewhere else, with a certain amount of deals, but now you're making 75, but they're
Exactly.
taking more of it because you're doing more deals.
Doesn't matter.
No, I don't think it does.
So
You're just doing
at Southern Dwellings, my cut was 80%. But 2020 was so bad. I mean, I had some closings in 2020, but I wasn't like rolling.
right.
And so I was like, here's the thing, 80% of zero is zero.
Exactly.
So when I switched to RE/MAX, so like this is my best year in real estate so far,
Yeah.
2022.
How many deals have you done?
15.
15 deals. Average is 12 for the whole year
I know.
for people. So you're above average, which is awesome. Do you work with more buyers or sellers?
This year it's been sellers.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I have had some investors, Thomas, but then I also this is wild. So I picked up an internet lead. Those are hit or miss because a lot of times on Zillow or Realtor, you get like looky-loos is what I call them.
Right.
They're bored.
They're just checking out.
So I picked up a random internet lead one day when I was on floor duty, and she was an investor. And so I helped her buy her first one, and I just sold her one of my own listings because it was an investment house.
Yeah.
And so I showed it to her first, and she bought it.
Huh.
So
That checks out.
I've had a lot of double-sided deals this year, which is not the norm, but it's just really, it's panned out that way.
Yeah. So do you just drop down to facilitator when you do that? Or do you work?
Yes, I do.
Because you can't.
I explained to them that I'm basically like Switzerland and I'm just neutral in the situation. I'm there to do
you
the
can't
paperwork.
really. You're at that point. You're not really.
Representing anybody.
Yeah, because you can't have someone's best interest on both sides. It's
Correct.
impossible.
It is
Even
impossible.
though some people disagree with that.
So in some states, they have a thing called dual agency.
Dual agency, yeah.
So we have it in Tennessee, but my first broker sat on the Tennessee Real Estate Commission.
Right.
And she was like, don't ever be a dual because it's
Honestly,
really impossible to do it.
Yeah, because you really can't have someone's best interest, I think.
No.
Because if you know someone's willing to take like 50 grand less,
right,
you can't tell that person, the buyers that, because
right.
then you'd be doing a disservice. You'd be helping them out, but it's a disservice to them because then they're making less money. Like, you really can't do both.
No.
But if you drop down and let someone else go to bat for them, whatever. You make a little less money, but keeps you, in check as far as
it keeps you out of legal
sound.
trouble.
Yeah. And legal trouble, too.
So I've had a listing before where I've had a buyer want to see it. And so this is what I tell them. I will show it to you.
Right.
But if if you're in multiple offers and I know what the offers coming in are, right. I will say, if you want to write an offer, I'm going to give you to somebody else in my office.
Yeah.
Because I obviously can't write an objective offer.
No. Can't.
And make them competitive. Right.
Yep. That's true. That's very true. This is a pretty open question, but what's one thing you wish you would have known before becoming an agent?
Two things.
Okay.
It takes time. I'm in year 4. This has been my best year, but you have to really build it. You can't. Right. Some people get lucky and they have beginner's luck and they make $100,000 in the first year, but that is so rare. You right. have to really build your sphere. And I listen to Hustle Humbly. I don't know if you've ever listened to them. They're a podcast too. And they were talking about, even your family members, you're new. You don't really know what you're doing yet. So right. you can't even expect your mom or dad to be like, yeah, let's use her. She has no idea what she's doing.
Let me trust her to sell our $600,000 house.
Exactly.
When we're not super confident in it.
You're not confident in us yet. We're new.
That's where most people get their first deals. It's like their cousin. They just want to help out.
Exactly.
And
you're just like fumbling through it. So I would say set that expectation. It's going to be a few years before you really are rolling. And my second thing would be have a thick skin because
right.
people will hurt your feelings so fast. And I'm finally to the point where if somebody doesn't call me back, I'm like, well, bless and release. It's fine.
Right.
But I think when you're new and you're broke, you don't have any other income, and you're trying to grab every deal you can get, you're like, I'll just work with everybody. But
right.
sometimes it's not a right fit.
So
let it go.
Do you feel like you pick and choose now your deals? I mean, obviously you have to make money or whatever, but
right.
have you ever turned down things because they're just unrealistic?
I have fired people.
Really?
Yeah.
Just terminated the
listing agreement. Usually, it was a list.
So take me through that. Is it just
so unrealistic?
Yeah.
So me firing him ended up saving the deal. This is a good story.
Okay.
So it was a floor call. I was brand new at Remax. I'm like, okay, I'm new at Remax. I need to show them I can do the thing.
Right.
So I take the floor call. It's in Jonesboro. It is falling apart. Now, in its glory days, it was probably. This was in 2020. So in its glory days, it was probably a $350,000, $400,000 house.
Right.
At best, at this point when I'm seeing it, it's probably worth $150,000.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's bad. And so he had it listed previously.
Right.
And so they had it listed at $175,000. And I was like, I told him right then, I don't think you're going to get that.
Right.
And he was like, well, let's just try it. Okay. And again, let this be a lesson to everyone, new agents. Don't take an overpriced listing. Okay.
And why is it? Just because when you overprice it, obviously you just have to cut. You're
setting the seller's expectation that that's what they're going to get. So within 2 days, we had a cash offer close in 2 weeks for $150,000, right?
Yeah.
25 below list price. But I'm like, holy cow, you should take this and run with it.
That's a good deal. Yeah.
Right.
Take it.
He wouldn't take it.
Because he thought that he could get that 175.
He thought he could get the 175.
Right.
And I'm like, here's the thing. You had it on the market before. You didn't get it. I don't know why you think I'm special and I can get it for you.
Especially like cash with like probably low contingencies, right?
None. There were none. They were going to skip home inspection. Right. Weren't going to get it appraised. They saw its potential.
Right.
So this goes on for weeks. We get like decent offers.
Yeah.
And he's just like shutting them down left and right. And I'm getting frustrated. And I'm like a super easygoing, laid back person. And he got an attitude with me one time. And I like to just say that I matched his energy. Like, I got right back with him.
Some people need that.
Yes.
Every now and then.
And so then he kind of simmered down a little bit. And so finally, a month, 6 weeks, I don't even know how long. It felt like an eternity.
Right.
But finally, We get another. We've gone weeks now without an offer. All the feedback says it's overpriced.
Yeah.
I make him come to the office and sit down, and I have the paperwork drawn up to fire him.
Really?
Yes, to terminate it.
Just terminate it?
Because I'm done. It's not worth my
your time anymore.
My stress.
Babysitting this deal that might not go through.
Exactly.
Right.
And so we had this offer on the table. So I had that, and then I had the termination paperwork. So I sit down, and I'm like, we're done here. And do you know what he did? He took the deal. And do you know what it was? $125. So this man lost $25,000 and 6 weeks, a month, whatever it was, of our time.
Wow. So in that situation, when you have offers that are higher and then they decline them, they're dead, right? Or could you revisit it? Like
I did. I tried to revisit it. So
Okay.
when I, a month out, he was like, really wish I'd have taken that 150.
Right.
So I call him. That's what we do.
Right.
I tried to drum the business back up. They were investors, and he was like, I've already bought something else. I've moved on. That cash is gone.
Right. I bet that's probably a good lesson for that guy.
I hope so.
To not be greedy.
And so I thought,
but I mean, everyone wants the most money.
I get that.
But that is kind of a
that's why
bad
you hire
tactic.
us, because we can tell you.
Yeah. You should.
This ain't it.
Yeah. If you hire a real estate agent to list your property,
listen.
You
to
have
us,
to
please.
trust them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I thought, after all that, and like me matching his energy, that he hated me. I was like, just glad even at the closing table, he was difficult. Like, it was just awful, start to finish.
Yeah.
And so, I
hope he doesn't watch his podcast.
Right. I don't think he will. He barely used his cell phone. So I think we're good.
Good deal.
And so, I thought, okay, that guy was probably, we'll never hear from him again. He probably hates RE/MAX everywhere because of me. He called the office and wanted me to help him with something else.
Really?
Yes. I was floored.
Well, maybe he's seen, how much work you put in for it and your persistence, because that goes a long way with, I guess, doing real estate, how persistent you are. But that's crazy.
It was a wild transaction. That was my very first one at RE/MAX too.
Really?
Yeah.
First deal?
Yeah.
Wow.
First one there.
Broke you in, right?
Yes.
Any other nightmare stories? What's like the most challenging part about real estate?
Oh gosh, I want to say time management.
Really?
No joke. Because if you don't manage it well, you could be working 12 hours a day.
Right. What do you do to manage your time better? Like, what's a typical day look like for Keli Vaughn?
I get up at 5.
Me too. I do too.
I hate mornings, but I get up at 5. So my husband leaves for work at 5:30. He drives an hour and a half to work every day. So that's like our only time to hang out because kids.
Right.
And so I get up at 5, pack his lunch. I do a devotion. This is like my quiet time. I have coffee.
Yeah.
And that's like getting me in the mindset for the day.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a little Jesus. I've had a little caffeine. I can handle whatever happens today.
Right.
Because then I have to wake up the beast. Okay. So about 7, I'll get him up and get him to school about 8. And then I go to the gym. And then I'm like ready to work.
Yeah.
So like yesterday, I was at the office about 10:30, 11. We had a training. Then I had that chamber lunch. And in between, I was on the phone with people all day. I didn't have any client meetings, but I was on the phone with people all day.
Right.
And then after that, we went to, there's a new company in Kingsport that does closing gifts. So we went to visit them. And I ordered my first closing gift with them. Super cute stuff.
Who is it? Who's the company?
Kingsport Gifting Company.
Okay,
So
cool.
they're based out of Abingdon.
Shout out to Kingsport Gifting Company.
Yeah, they're awesome. And so they're based out of Abingdon, and Kingsport Mall ran a pop-up shop contest. They won it. So go visit them. You should do that. And so that was what I did. And then I went back to the office, made some more phone calls, and then I went and picked up cash. And then I try in the evenings. It doesn't always work, but I try to put my phone down and just do like dinner with the family and just hang out with them.
But everyone wants to call at 7:30 at night, right?
Yes.
Asking about, hey, did we get that termite inspection back or whatever? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And so I try, or
You have to. You're kind of a slave to your phone.
I feel that way.
Yeah, a lot of realtors are. Well, I mean, most of them are, just because real estate's ruthless with your time. They don't care. People don't care.
And like, here's my thing. What other profession, you're not calling your doctor at 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night.
No.
Hey, can we go see this house at 7 a.m.? You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not doing that. Like, so that's another thing those girls in that podcast talk about is like setting a standard. Like, we are professionals.
Right.
Please, we're begging you to treat us as such.
9 to 5, typical.
We
But
would love that.
I think a lot of agents, they pride themselves on, like, you can call me at 2 a.m, I'll answer. And that's their thing, but that's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
If you don't have a family, if you're just all
it's
work.
just you.
But, most people want to have a decent work-life balance. Most
That's
people
why I got into
have
real
kids.
estate.
Right.
That was the whole reason. So I'm like,
You got into real estate to have flexible hours?
to have flexible. That
Definitely
was why.
have it.
So I have
You might
to,
just be working 11 o'clock at night.
exactly. So I have to force that sometimes. But that's the whole reason I got into it.
Yep. That's everyone's struggle that I've ever talked to with real estate is the fact that they quit their 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're flexible. We can work any 8 hours a week we
I
want.
might just not answer at 9:30 at night.
I'm asleep at 9:30.
You have to if you wake up at
I'm
5.
like a meemaw, and I'm in bed by 9.
Well, I mean, honestly, you have to if you are up at 5.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, I
not
get a lot
sustainable.
of stuff done by lunchtime, okay?
It's not sustainable.
No.
So when you were a new agent, what was your first top deals? Was it family, or how did you get the ball rolling?
This is weird. I have lots of good stories.
Good.
So my very first ever client. So I was at Southern Dwellings, and I was working full time when I first started. I don't recommend that because it is absolutely exhausting. So my very first client, I just got an email from this couple. They were moving here from out of town, and they were like, we found you on the website. We just really would like to chat with you.
Yeah.
They were pre-approved. They were like amazing buyers. Yeah, they'd done all the footwork because they were trying to buy where they lived, and then they just made the decision to move here. So they dropped that and then moved. And so I called her that night, and so I met, they were pre-approved. I had all that. So I was like, they knew what they wanted to see. So I met them out there. So while we're there, I'm like, how'd you find me? Because you want to know, like, where your marketing dollars are going. You want to know that it's like you're getting
That it's
return on
working.
investment, right?
Right.
This is hilarious. She's like, so when we moved here, I just Googled real estate companies in East Tennessee.
Yeah.
She was like, I love Southern Dwellings. It was cute, local company. She's like, I loved it. And then she got on our website, and she was like, I just looked at the pictures and read the bios, and I just loved you just looked super sweet, and I loved your bio, and we picked you.
What'd your bio say? You roughly know?
It basically said,
Y'all trying to sell a house?
no, it basically said, like, I love East Tennessee and, like, all it has to offer.
Right.
If I'm not working real estate, I do remember this. It said, if I'm not working real estate, I'm probably watching Mickey Mouse, because Cash was like 2 at the time.
Yeah.
And so she was like, she's a mom, she sells real estate, and they picked me.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wild.
So make sure your bio on your website
Make sure your bio is really
good.
solid.
Is
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Put some time into that.
And then my next one, because I was working full time, was a girl that I work with. It was her daughter selling a house.
Okay. So you had two. So you had a buyer first, and then
And then
sellers
seller.
next.
Mm-hmm.
So you like working with sellers more?
Generally, yeah.
Less work, isn't it?
Buyers are a lot of. It's not. I don't know that it's less work. Maybe in this recent market, it seems like less
Right.
work.
It's been faster.
It's
for
been
sure.
faster, but buyers, you're just like driving all over East Tennessee.
Yeah,
Constantly.
it's a long time until you get your payoff, because you
With
can show
that.
somebody, especially in this kind of market we've had in the past couple of years, where
35 houses.
yeah, I mean you have to show them that many houses, because and then even if they offer on 35,
You may not get one.
yeah, you just get beat out on every offer. So I bet that's really frustrating.
I'm
being a buyer's
excited
agent.
that the market is regulating.
It-
I'm ready for it.
It's good that it's doing it. Not a lot of people like that. Interest rates are going up. No one's happy about that. But, seeing like 7-8% interest rates or whatever right now, I don't know. It's pretty close, right? I'd say
It is,
6
yeah.
to 8 probably.
7 is what I've been
Yeah.
told.
And
most.
compared to, a year and a half
2?
ago, 2.5%, that was the norm for a lot of people.
Right.
Because a lot of people bought a lot of investment properties and a lot of
Why
stuff.
wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. It's like free money.
Exactly.
So now people are like, well, I don't know. I don't want to, I
But
don't want to sell our house
historically,
now.
these interest rates
It's low still.
are average, right?
Yeah.
So 2%, we're probably never in our lifetime going to see that again.
There's some people that think that it might come down there again.
My head will explode if it does.
It'll be good for people, wanting to buy.
Yeah, it is.
But it'll do the same thing again. It'll have a lot of buyers and we still don't even have great inventory.
Still, I feel like we're fighting over houses.
It's still low. It depends on price point too, because I see it a lot.
It's a huge deal.
I see it a lot too. Like anything under 250 is gone still.
Same day.
Yeah.
Multiple offers.
But if it's 550 up, because there's
but
not
I
as,
have a
not as
friend
many
who
people
just
wanna,
sold one for $650 and it was gone in like less than a week.
But then again, was it priced right? I'm sure it was.
Priced well, yeah.
Yeah. But it is good that the market it's slowed down a little bit as far as there's less competition. More people are able to get houses because it's been wild. I see, I would shoot a house or whatever and put it on the market.
It's gone.
Gone.
I know.
Gone. So that's wild.
That's why listings have been fun the last couple of years.
Yeah. So what did you do before real estate?
I have an accounting degree.
Okay.
I was in corporate accounting.
Good with numbers.
So I do think it really actually helps me a lot.
I'd say so. Because if someone's like, well, I got $340,000 house and this much commission, you could probably spit it right back at what their numbers are going to be. It takes me forever. I got to whip out a calculator.
I'm really good at the maths.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And when lenders are talking, because I had to take finance classes and all that, when lenders are saying all these things that people are it's like flying everybody's head. Right. I get it.
You just memorized every amortization table ever.
Yeah. So when I bought my first house, the title company girl showed me the amortization schedule. And she was explaining what it is. I was like, yeah, I know.
Got it.
I have a degree in that. And she was like, great, moving on. You just saved my whole spiel.
That's something that not a lot of people get. Some people's brains don't work like that. Mine doesn't. Like
my
when I look at those tables,
do a math. He cannot.
I can't.
No.
Can't either. So with your real estate career, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Do you ever want to open your own brokerage or?
Never.
Never?
No.
Why?
It's too much responsibility. I want to sell real estate. I don't want to have to worry about managing other realtors or
it's good money though.
Training all these new. I do like to train new baby agents because I think it's not done well at all. And I am very passionate about that, but I don't want to spend all my time doing it. I want to sell houses. And I don't want to have to worry about if we run out of toilet paper at the office.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because then you're running a business inside of 40 other people's businesses too.
Exactly.
Managing people, that's the hardest part about.
That's why I don't want to do it.
Really?
But
more money, more problems. That's what they say.
Correct. Right. I'm good where I'm at, just making my commission and worrying about myself. My husband and I have talked about starting to get into investing.
Okay.
Maybe in the next year, 18 months.
That
is something I'm really interested
single family, multifamily, what?
Single family.
And you think it's a good deal?
That's usually a good deal. Sometimes I can find those. And so I would love to get into investing. And at first I thought I want to flip them. But the more I've listened and learned about investing, I'm probably hold them.
Yeah.
For rentals.
Long-term game. If you get a bunch of them.
Long-term. Yeah. That's the goal.
Over 10, 15, that's when it starts making sense. A lot of people, I've done a lot of research on investing too, and a lot of people will get 2 or 3 rentals, and they're like, man, this sucks. I'm only making $700 a month total profit. And they're like, I wanted to retire, You
have to keep going.
Yeah, it's just,
it's not enough.
a good rental, if you're making $300 at the end of the day, with property management fees and taxes and everything, if you're making $300 a property, numbers, if you got
it's passive
30 of them, then you're making pretty decent money doing,
and you're not sitting at a desk all day.
Right. That's
and
definitely
I would totally
long-term.
hire a property manager.
100%.
Because I would rather pay them to be the hands-on situation than me have to do it.
8 to 10%.
And they can have it.
Pay them every day of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty good business too to be in, being a property manager. Some of the realtors that I work for are property managers too.
I dabbled in it.
I bet it's a headache. I'd say it is.
I don't want to do it. I want to pay somebody to do it for me.
Yeah, for sure. I think that only makes sense if you're doing volume. Managing 100 properties at 10% of their rent, that's pretty good.
Right. So the way that I accidentally dabbled in it was because I had a seller who the sale fell through. It was a whole mess.
Yeah.
Tax liens that weren't his. They were the previous owner.
Right.
Hot mess. And so the people who were buying it, they just decided to rent it short term until we could kind of figure the things out. And so he was like, you just can do property management for me because he lives out of state.
Right.
not a huge fan. So, but
I
it
bet
was like
a huge
it was only
headache.
one, and at 10%, you're only doing one
Making $30
a month.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
So you want to do real estate investing? That's what, 10 years? Are you still going to be doing? Being an agent,
yes.
practicing?
So I would hire a property manager.
Yeah.
So I could still sell. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, wouldn't it be cool to retire at like 55 and like travel the whole country?
Be cool to retire
Before
sooner
55,
than that, for
yeah.
sure. There's like Mark, the guy who I'm having on the next episode. He's like 31, I think. He's young, and he's got a lot of holding property and stuff, like apartment complexes.
Yes.
If you get into that, then I think you're pretty good off that. But so still going to be doing real estate in 10 years. You don't want to be a broker. So you think you'll be with RE/MAX?
I do. Yeah.
There you go.
Our new owner's got like a ton of stuff. He's like, we were in a lull, and he's like, his energy level, like, he really just rubs off on you.
Yeah, sometimes
so
that's
now
what
I'm
it
like
takes.
excited again about real estate. Yeah.
Just get amped up about it.
Yeah.
That's another reason why a lot of people switch brokerages too, because they just feel like it's kind of mundane. Then they'll go somewhere else that has like a little bit different marketing technique or strategy.
High energy.
Or the people there.
Yes.
I think who you work with matters, and you're not around them every day. Obviously, like, people are doing their own things, but still, when you meet together and you're there, and if everyone's just kind of like, no one's doing deals, everyone's kind of like, woo,
Yeah, it's
it's
hard.
not good. You want to be around people that are like absolutely just crushing that, and you can learn from them too.
And have you ever heard, I don't know who said this, but you are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Your personal sphere of influence.
And that is so true.
Yep.
Like, if you're talking to a Debbie Downer all day,
Yep.
you're like, oh, well, I suck at real estate. I'm probably going to just
Quit.
hang it up. Yeah.
Right. Be a statistic of the ones that failed. Yeah.
It does. It matters so much about who you spend time with.
If you hang around 5 people that are losers that just aren't doing much, you're going to be the 6th one. If you hang around 5 millionaires, you're going to be the 6th one.
Exactly.
Because it's statistically impossible for you to do that. You're not going to be the one loser, and all your friends are just absolutely killing it. Because then you're not going to get along. You're not going to be friends.
Because you're going to feel like a loser, and
Right,
you're not going to have anything to
to
talk about with them.
You're going to be a loser. So you
Exactly.
need to match what they have. So it definitely is important, your atmosphere and who you're around, for sure.
It matters so much.
So if someone was wanting to work with Keli Vaughn, how do they get in contact with you? What's the best way?
Call me or text me.
What's your number?
423-579-4045.
Good deal.
Or you can email me, but a text or a call is really... I'm a weirdo, and I like to actually talk on the phone.
What's the website, too, for RE/MAX, if someone wanted to get you there?
The easiest thing is to just find us on Facebook. RE/MAX Results, Kingsport.
Okay. But cool. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit of real estate. And I don't know how to end these. So.
And we are equally awkward at that. So this is going to be great.
What do you do?
This can be the end. Great. We're both awkward. So thanks for coming.